So that will give us some time for us to have a good conversation. And today, we're looking at adequate planning for the physical and urban space, the Ogun State recipe. And joining me on the phone line right now, I have Town Planner Tunji Odulami, who is the Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Ogun State. It's nice to have you. Good morning, sir. Hello, sir. Are you there?
Good morning. It's quite a while.
Okay.
I'm here. Good morning, Victor.
Good. I'm just trying to see how I can, nudge up this audio, but I can hear you very well. It's nice to have you on our program, sir.
I'm glad to be here. Good morning, all.
Great. So, Town Planner Odulami, it's been a very, very long time coming for you to be on this program. So, let's kickstart it right away by, doing some kind of concept clarification or perhaps some demystification, if you would like it that way. So when we talk about physical planning and urban development, help us understand the true meanings of these concepts vis-a-vis its contribution to the growth of a state like Ogun.
Well, thank you, Victor. Like I said, it's been quite a while.
Right.
But well done. You're doing a very good job. Sometimes I listen to you. Well, what does it mean? Physical planning, urban development. Well, for any space, any living space, there are two aspects to it. There's the development, there's the planning aspect, and then there's the development aspect. So the planning aspect is actually the policy aspect, where you lay in broad terms what you want to do about a particular space. How you want that space to develop, the arrangement, where the roads will be, where the residential areas would be, where the commercial areas would be, where the factories would be, where schools would be, where hospitals would be, and so on and so forth,
right,
so that space can be sustainable and livable, so that we don't have incompatible land uses, we don't have factories next to residential areas as to injure people's health. And after you have done that, then there is the development aspect of it. That is actual translation of other people's intention for that space, okay? People want to build houses. People want to now do those things. So from policy, which is planning,
right,
to now development, which is the implementation of that planning.
Right. And I love the way you've broken it down for us. We'll be articulating all of that. But when we situate your ministry amongst the true essence of this concept, which you have just enumerated, what is the mandate that has been given to that ministry in actualizing the Ogun State development agenda?
Yes, thank you, Victor. Like I have said, I've broken down the mandate for our ministry in Ogun State is to do just what I've just said, to plan and to ensure orderly development. I'd like to acknowledge our governor, Prince Apo Abiodun, CON, for the vision that he has for the sustainable development of Ogun State. Before now, things appear not to be coordinated, but since he came and we came on board in the saddle as Honorable Commissioner, we've been implementing that vision to turn around the way the Ogun State physical space is being developed. We have since then done a lot of policies. What was met on the ground, we have restructured them from one agency that we used to call Urban and General Planning Board. We created 3 new agencies.
Okay.
The Ogun State Planning and Development Permit Authority, that is saddled with granting only planning permit, that is permit for you to go and build your house, strictly that, so that they can focus and then deliver planning very quickly to people,
right,
so that people don't have to waste so much time waiting before they can go and build their house. So in that way, we want to discourage people doing legal development. We also want to encourage people not to spend the resources they want to use to build their houses into something else. If there's a delay and there's an escalation of prices, you can actually make a mess of whatever plan somebody has to build his house, because planning permit is delayed. The second agency that we created out of that one body is called the Building Production Management Authority. You see, this is now the development aspect. This agency is started with doing what we call stage certification of building from the foundation level until you move into the house. That is the responsibility of that agency, is to ensure that in Ogun State we have better built houses, more resilient houses, houses that will last, into the very well into the future. Houses that, and when I'm talking about houses, I'm also talking about industrial concerns like factory spaces, like commercial buildings.
Right.
Buildings that will not, within some 1 year, you will see cracks, you see water seeping from the place. And then eventually to prevent houses or buildings collapsing on people and killing people. So that agency will intervene and ensure that the contents, the best practices in terms of building, are carried out on building sites.
So more or less like a replica.
There's the third one that we call this.
It's more or less like a replica of Labka in Lagos. I say it's more or less like a replica of Labka in Lagos.
Well, something like that. But if you read the mandate, you will see that it's been fine-tuned in Ogun State. Yeah, it's based on the experiences of Labka. It's been fine-tuned in Ogun State and better streamlined so that they can focus on their core competence of just ensuring that houses are built right. They are not involved in planning. They are not involved in what planners should be doing. They are actually for that. And so in that agency, what we have are just architects, engineers, and builders and others.
Okay.
Now, the third one is the Ogun State Slum Regeneration Authority. That authority is essentially to focus on rejuvenation and redevelopment of the core areas of our old towns. In Ogun State, we have so many towns, and then we have their core areas already degenerated, lacking the basic facilities for a very good living, like toilets, like open spaces, like good access roads, not necessarily tarred roads, but good footpaths within communities, and then provision of some other things that are missing there.
Right.
So that agency is saddled with that responsibility. It has carried out studies, and they are already started intervening in those areas all over the state.
Wonderful. All right. So
and then, of course, we have the main ministry. We have the main ministry, which is now focused essentially on policies, which those three agencies will implement. And so that's what we have been able to do in Ogun State. And of course, the results are showing in terms of better compliance with planning standards and building standards, better, adherence to regulations and the policies.
Right.
It's a long road, but we are firmly on the way.
Which is very, very good. And I love the fact that you've been able to break it down for us, the different agencies that you have under your ministry. Ogun State is relatively large, more or less like 5.5 times the size of Lagos, over 16,700 square kilometers. And when you assess the physical and urban space in Ogun State, Honorable Commissioner, how would you describe it so far so good in the ambit of these 5 years that you've been the commissioner?
Like I said, it's been a good report, and the evidence is there. Ogun State is large, yes, 16,900 square kilometers, and like you said, like times 5 of Lagos. So Lagos is dense. Lagos is packed. So from my own perspective and my own professional experience, it's easier to police Lagos because it's smaller and then it's compact. If you stand in a place, you can see a lot of things happening. But in Ogun State, we are spread, widespread from one end to the other, quite very far. Oh yes, quite a sizable portion is actually agric areas, but you have communities inside them. So really policing Ogun State landscape in terms of controlling development is actually a challenge. But we are living up to the challenge. We are deploying our resources. We are trying to manage and optimize what we have to be able to do that. Right. For us to be able to do that, we have about 22 zonal planning offices at that level. And recently, we are, approaching the governor for us to create additional 10, realizing the need to really, be on the ground to police development. Ogun State now, by the policies of, the current administration, is actually pulling people into Ogun State. So many developments are going on. People are moving in, to come and, build there, to come and live there, to come and work there. And so the challenges are increasing, but we are coping. God helping us.
All right.
But we seem to do more. Yes, we seem to do more.
And if you're to look at the areas in terms of this spread now, let's begin to articulate some of those communities. I know a place like Abeokuta, you're likely going to be having more modernized, more people that might likely comply with the physical and urban development policy. What about other areas? Ijebu, places like Shagamu. Can you articulate which of these places in Ogun State would you say are most compliant when we talk about the physical planning laws and the urban development policies?
Well, there's nothing like the most compliant. I mean, we are guided by law and regulations. And before I go deeper into that, part of the thing that we did in order to ensure that we are on the right track and we are being guided is that to be able to do what we need to do, to be able to carry out the mandate that we have, to be able to achieve the purpose for which that ministry was created and structured, we have a body of laws and regulations. We have the principal law that was reviewed and strengthened and expanded to be able to cover the field. And then deriving from that principal law that we call the Ogun State Urban and General Planning and Development Law 2022,
okay,
we fashioned out 5 new regulations. 5 new regulations. That Ogun State is the only state in Nigeria that has that array of regulations and law to manage the development of its physical landscape. No other state in Nigeria has done that up to, as I'm speaking. So those regulations deal with layout of land, development, building, and urban, slum generation.
Right.
And so we because of the area of that regulations, we've been able to deal with the issue that you're talking about. So there's no single area that says most compliant, because there is the law and there are the regulations that people must comply with. So generally in Ogun State, based on what we have been able to do under the mandate of His Excellency, we've been able to reach as much as possible most of our urban areas. So actually people are complying because we are not relenting on enforcement of the provisions of the law and the regulations.
All right. So, but in terms of this regeneration now,
so of course. Sorry. Of course, if you go to Abeokuta, because Abeokuta is the capital anyway,
right,
Abeokuta will seem to reflect more, because you see, generally anywhere, people are more attracted to the capital because that is where the seat of government is. So that is where you have maybe bigger buildings, a lot of new buildings coming up. But it's all over. It's all over. If you go to Shagamu, for instance, which sits right in the middle of our new industrial conurbation in Ogun State, you have new structures, new urban patterns, developing, because that is actually very close to where our international airport is situated. That good news, it has started, non-scheduled flights, and so it will start scheduled flights in order to harness the growth potentials of Ogun State and that region in general. So many of if you go to Ijebu now, I mean, this government has intervened, provide upgraded roads, in Ijebu, upgraded roads in Abeokuta, in Shagamu, all over the state. This government is really doing its best, is working around the clock to ensure that the physical landscape of Ogun State is better developed, better coordinated, even for to promote the prosperity of our people.
Right. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM Talk Time this morning. We have the Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development in Ogun State, and we are looking at adequate planning for the physical and urban space, the Ogun State recipe. Let's quickly get back to the road before we begin to hear from you on the program this morning. Quickly taking you through the latest update. I understand that the earlier reported accident on Oduyalaro Bridge in Ojota has been cleared out of the road, and of course is a much better movement right now. All right, I want to say thank you to Onabanjo for supplying that info. We did tell you about 2 articulated vehicles that ran into each other the last time, so but he says it has been taken off or rather, she says it has been taken off, so it's a much better drive right now. Mushin Corridor, good movement from Bolade Ushodi on the stretch of Agege Motor Road, descending towards Guru, connecting you with underneath the bridge at Oshodi, looking pretty good to go. Slightly slow around Olukwesi, inwards Kappa. You've got some bad portions there, responsible. From there to areas like the railway, Ilukweju bypass, it's a faster movement aside for traffic light alternation that you will find. Further movement from there to Challenge as well as Olorunshogo, moving at a much faster pace. Slow connecting Ojuoye, bad portions of the road responsible. Post Office Junction also slow. Ojuoye busy with commuters and commercial activities, but no cause for alarm. Connecting Olosha down to Moshlashi, it's an appreciable one as well. And we can tell you, Ilukweju and its environs in and out is looking very, very cool and calm. All right, we'll be getting more feeds from you. But if you want to join the conversation, I'll let you in very, very shortly. But let's still explore this much more a bit. Town Planner Odulami, I know that Lagos shares a whole lot of things in common, especially in the areas. I'm just looking at the boundaries now. Lagos, Ogun share boundaries, and I was just speaking with my colleague before you came on board, and we're just trying to articulate some of those communities that we have within the border areas. Akute, communities like Alagbole, communities like Songo, and even Agbado. All those areas border Lagos, and in terms of physical and urban development, sometimes people just misconstrue and they believe those communities are right here in Lagos. So how far has the administration gone in meeting up with the physical planning and urban needs of those communities in terms of creation and innovation?
Well, thank you, Victor. Between Lagos and Ogun, we share a very long border areas. Four local governments in Ogun State, Lagos and Ogun State actually share borders with four local governments in Ogun State. We have the Obafemi Ode, we have Ifota, we have the Shagamu, and I think we have about 3 or 4.
Agbara.
Yeah. Yes, we have Agbara area,
Right.
sharing boundary with Lagos. And of course, these are the areas most impacted, by population, by movements, that, between Ogun and Lagos. And that is why, in realization of these, of the challenges that they pose in terms of security, urban development, and all whatnot, the two states formed a partnership under the Lagos Ogun Joint Development Commission. Which partnership that was to harness the potential between the two states to ensure that the border areas are better planned, for people to live in. I recollect that sometime in year 2022, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Bajide Sanwo-Olu, and our own Governor, Prince Ababiodun, signed an MOU towards this purpose. Whether I like it or not, the fortunes and the prosperity of both states depend on this cooperation.
Okay.
Like our governor used to say, he says we are like New York and New Jersey. And so we have quite a number of things in common. We have been speaking together on urban development. We have been speaking on environmental management in terms of waste management, and on so many fronts. For instance, some of the linking roads to Ogun, between Lagos and Ogun, Lagos did up to the boundary, and Ogun State also took off from there to ensure smooth movement of people and goods and services. A lot of people work in Lagos and they live along these boundaries, and that is what has posed a challenge, because initially in times past, these areas developed amorphously without any plan. It just grew spontaneously without any plan, and that posed a challenge more to us in Ogun State, because we were at the receiving end. So what we did recently was, and quite a number of these areas fall within government acquisition in Ogun State. So what we have done recently was to prepare what we call development guide plans for these areas, so that people that are there that are built there illegally without town planning approval now have access, to get approval as well as get title to their land through what we call OLAMs. That's Ogun State Land Administration and Revenue Management System.
Okay.
That has opened opportunities for people to be able to get permit and be able to also get title to their land. And again, Ogun State government has been intervening in so many areas. We have been rehabilitating schools. We have been doing roads from Lagos, from our boundary into Ogun State. A lot of things we have been intervening, and we are not relenting. So that partnership between Ogun and Lagos just must continue because it's in our collective interest.
Right.
For instance, the Adian Water Works that supplies water to Lagos is right inside Ogun State.
Oh.
And so.
Right.
Yes, it's inside Ogun State, and so our partnership is just very important. Again, the blue line, the red line, starts from Lagos and terminates in Ogun State. The red line of Lagos, the railway line, terminates Ogun State. From where Ogun State is going, Agbado is going to take off to extend further. So that partnership is strong, and the two chief executive officers speak regularly to ensure that we keep intervening in these areas so that we can make life better, in that place.
Let's talk about
going forward from there.
Right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Going forward from there, in order to actually even shift, like I said, Ogun State is making itself a pool for people because there's no way you can go to any part of Nigeria without passing through Ogun State. Whether on land, whether on air, whatever, you have to pass through Ogun State. So there's a lot of burden on us, and that is why we keep, working at it to ensure that, we produce conducive environment for people to live in. Yeah. And in doing this, one of our planning strategies is to disperse population from these areas and attract people to go and live further inside Ogun State. During this administration, of Prince Abiodun, we created what we call economic development clusters.
Okay.
These clusters are economic development clusters. We have Magboro, which is close to Lagos, where we are going to do mixed uses, commercial, industrial. We have, Yabu economic development clusters, which leverages on the new road that this administration has constructed or reconstructed from Yabu to Epe.
Okay.
That road is one of the best roads in Nigeria today. We have built a cluster around that place, industrial, residential, and commercial around that place that is going up. We made plans for that. We prepared master plans for that for that area, and even for Magboro. And then we also have new clusters coming up, around Abeokuta. And then we are planning for a new cluster towards the Mepoa Farm, which is the northernmost part of Ogun State. So we are really doing, master plans, reordering of Ogun State, using our strategy to ensure that we disperse population there so that people will not concentrate more along those border areas and reduce the challenges that we have there.
All right. I'm interested in the permits. I mean, one of the agencies which you talked about, the Agency for Physical Planning Permits that can help to, ensure that people do it the right way. How long does it take for one to process a physical planning permit in Ogun State?
Oh, yes, it varies. It depends on the complexity of the proposal that you want to do. Whether you want to do just a residential building, or you want to do office building or commercial building, or you want to do industrial or factory premises. Now, these governments of President Abiodun came up with what we call 7714, a plan processing, system. Now, what does it mean? It means that for your simple applications, like you want to build your bungalow, you want to build your 4 flats or 6 flats, within 7 days, 7 working days, you should get your permit.
Okay.
But there's a condition that all your required documents must be complete. So what we have done was when we came on board, we looked at what were the causes of the delays in granting permits, and we discovered that the planning agencies were saddling themselves with so many things that should not be their business. For instance, one of the things we did was to say that we will not take any application in for processing of permits if your documents are not complete. In the past, people just bring their drawings and then they bring their drawings and without any supporting documents like their tax clearance, like their survey, like their title to the land, they just bring to the town planning authority and then, they will ask them to go and pay. Those people will go and pay and then they will just go away. And then the town planning authority now gets stuck because they will not be able to process to approval. And the person will say, I submitted my application 6 months ago. They've not given me permit, and then we'll go and start to do illegal development. So what we did was to ensure that you, as an applicant that wants to build, is armed with all that we require.
Okay.
So we prepared a checklist of what is required that people will have, or their consultants will have. And so when you are coming, your full drawings will be ready, your tax clearance will be there, your evidence of ownership of land will be there, and then we have also introduced one thing that, consultants who are earning, income by doing those jobs for those things, also we have to pay tax. Okay. So we find evidence we request for evidence of that. So immediately you have all those things ready, you bring your application for what we call pre-screening. That pre-screening, we check your drawing whether they are satisfied the regulations. If there's anything to be corrected, at that point we will ask you to go and correct. And you correct and bring them back. At that time, we will not register your application. So, but by the time we register your application, after we have checked that all your documents are correct, within 7 days, you must get your permit.
Right. And what about the
office in Ogun State?
Right.
If you don't get that one, just phone my office. My phone number is online.
Okay.
If they are for other more
complex,
for larger developments,
right,
like industrial, it will take you about 14 days or thereabout. Now, why 14 days? Those kind of applications go through 2 stages of processing. One we call land use clearance. That land use clearance usually for areas that are not schemed. We want to see whether what you are proposing is compatible with developments in that area, so that we'll not be approving factory in residential areas and creating obnoxious circumstances for people and endangering their health. So that one should take 7 days. That is also predicated on the fact that all your documents are correct. So we'll just give you this thing you want to do, we will allow it in this area because it will not mess up the data environment. After we have given you that, then you now carry all those drawings to the permit to the zonal office covering the area, and within the next 7 days, you'll be able to get your permit to go and build your factory.
All right, then.
Or your commercial development or your office complex.
Okay, let's see. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Talk Time is the program, and today we're looking at adequate planning for the physical and urban space, the Ogun State recipe. Town planner Tunji Odulami, who is the Honorable Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development in Ogun State, is taking us to the classroom this morning. Let's see if we can expand the scope beyond the studios to also have your input at this time. 08099120777. That's 08099120777 is the numbers that you can call. Same for 09153877127. First caller, hello there.
Yeah, good, Mr. Victor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to the Honorable Commissioner too. This is Dr. Busari.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, I live in Ogun State, and from what the Commissioner has said, I want him to know that some of us, we are not just really enjoying here at all. The roads are bad.
Okay.
And even if you are driving or you ride on Okada, you see all these different kinds of people stopping you on the way, collecting money. And you ask them why they are collecting the money. The next thing they will tell you is that they are the one, fixing the roads. And I've been living in Ogun State since 2012, for 12 years now. You understand?
All right.
We made our road. We live it ourselves. We construct the roads for ourselves.
Okay, so what area in Ogun State that do you stay?
I'm talking about Ibafo.
Sorry, sir.
It says Ibafo.
Okay,
yes,
Good.
From that,
right.
in fact, when you pass through that Magboro, from that Magboro, you come down, you're going to Shorted. The roads there are bad. You understand?
Right.
One cannot really say one is really enjoying any dividend of democracy.
Okay.
That's just my,
your contribution.
I know Ogun State is very bigger than Lagos State, but at least they should show some kindness, show some human face to we that are living here.
Okay, so,
Thank you very
but
much.
Dr. Busari, before you go, apart from road construction, because we'll also try and get in the Commissioner for Works to talk about that, but in terms of the physical space, the built environment, how would you assess what the state is doing?
Well, in terms of physical development,
Yes.
you cannot compare what is obtainable here with that of Lagos State.
Okay.
That I can say.
All right. Thank you so
I
much
can
for.
say that. At
Thank
least
you.
I worked in Lagos State for a considerable period of time before I moved here.
Okay.
So
All right.
it cannot be compared at all.
We appreciate you, Dr. Busari. Thank you so
Thank you
much. We might just have to put all the calls together. Town planner Odulami, so that you'll be able to answer all of them. 08099 120 777 09153877127. Hello there, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
We have Ambassador Musba here calling me from Mission.
Ambassador Musbao, let's hear from you.
Yeah, traffic cleaning have done it again. Crossover. Yes, fantastic.
Right.
Now, to me, you have to say something. I can't understand it. Say, is it type of development that Lagos State is more than Lagos? I mean, you need to talk more. But I would say that, no, I think we, as a citizen of any state, we need to collaborate with government for us not to lose our property. Okay? Nothing wrong if I want to build, to go and verify, investigate where I'm building, whether it's canal, whether it's government acquisition, whatever. But we don't care. But as soon as there is available land, so far, so go where for. What's it okay? You start living.
Right.
We have to consider whether this erosion, whatever, can be stopped. So let us, as a citizen, we need to put this into consideration for not to be at the end of the day blame government has gone and done that. You have stamina.
Right.
You have both partner in progress, the government and we, and moreover, honorable commissioner, your people who are going out, they need to be kept. What are you doing to monitor them? Because they are part of the problem.
Okay.
They will go out and give correct information. After rapper collecting something, they take their eyes on it. Sure, stamina.
Right.
What are you doing to monitor all your workers, ministry? Very well, thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Ambassador Musba from Mushin. His question is, what is the commissioner doing to monitor his men that go out there to carry out the official duties? 08099120777, 09153877127. Those are the numbers that you can call. I'm having some messages that are coming in. In fact, so many of them on WhatsApp as well. We'll try and see how we articulate all of that together. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Comrade Daniel.
Comrade Daniel, let's hear from you.
Thank you very much, Victor. Yes, I agree to the Commissioner for Fiscal Planning. Yes, so.
Right.
Today. Yeah, I actually say somewhere in the state. The fact is that we don't really.
Where do you stay? Where do you stay in Ogun State, Comrade Daniel?
I stay in Mowe area.
Mowe, okay.
Yeah. The challenge here is about fiscal planning as well. People built on maybe waterways and without government
approval
and regulations. Come again.
I said without approval, people are building on some of those right of way of.
Yes, indiscriminately. There's some money that does go ahead to sell any plot of land, even it's on the drainage system.
Okay.
Or waterways, they don't care. So I think those are the challenges within the environment. And so on, from there to Liverpool and so on.
Okay.
And also what we discover that there's no government presence in the area of maybe infrastructure, such as healthcare, primary healthcare system.
Okay.
We take from here between Liverpool and so on. There's none like that. Like this.
All right.
The recreational centers are not created and so on. So those are challenges. The roads are also not motorable. That's some other challenges. We'll be grappling with the Ofada Road to Mowe bus stop. And there's nothing like the section of the road is not completed. Those roads, when they are perfectly done or they are well done, it's great, even development. There's no doubt about that one. And but for Mowe, Maburu, they are closer to Lagos.
Right.
So the proximity, I think Lagos State, the Ogun State should take advantage of those people again, Akute and so on. They should be competing with Lagos development so that people can affect, because the majority of people that work in Lagos live within those axes. People of that could be able to, they'll be willing to pay the tenement rate and, other government taxes and so on, because they are feeling that development and infrastructural development. So those what I think. And secondly, there are also this problem of like I say, of the people in terms of traffic. The trade monitor who can't be found within the environment, and people just send their goods on the roadside without control. Those are challenges we are facing.
Okay.
Like there's no government within this environment.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, then thank you very much. I'll hold the calls because so many of them coming in so frequently. Let's just allow the commissioner to also react to some of them. A message here says, good morning, sir. It is a fact that anytime Lagos sneezes, Ogun bears the brunt. He said most rogues that can't stand effective security services and manage to escape and find Ogun State as a wonderful rest place. Please, what plans has Ogun State government put in place to control the, what do you call it? Okay, to control the nefarious activities of these area boys. This is coming from Olua Loko. All right, sir. Honorable Commissioner, let's allow you to respond to myriads of this concern. And I would like it if you can make it short, because we still have more contributions here.
All right, Victor, thank you. Let me thank those who have called in. Yes, I've listened to their complaints, but I think it's a reflection of our collective responsibility. I don't want to call it a responsibility. Let me start with the Mowe Bafo area.
Yes.
You remember when I started, I said these boundary areas developed amorphously without any plan, and particularly people living in Bafo, Mowe, close to Lagos, people just go to Omonile and just buy land anywhere without layout. Without layout, people just go there, just buy any land. They buy, Omonile will sell anywhere, sell the water course, sell roads, sell anywhere to people. And because people do not do due diligence, they go and buy these lands without layout, and they begin to build there, even without planning permit.
Right.
And not to government's knowledge. So what are you going to get? You're going to get chaos. You're going to get chaos. A place that has no plan, definitely pattern, places for road, for school, for open spaces. What you find in the Bafo and Mowe is what you're going to get.
So are you having any handshake?
These places just develop amorphously, so
right.
It's difficult to, because normally when government does its own layout, government will plan for, if not now, for the future, to do the road, to do the drainage, to do anything. But you see, the road will be well defined, the plots will be well defined, so that nobody can build on the road. But in this area that we're talking about, even the caller, I'm sure, didn't do due diligence to check with the Ogun State government before he went to buy the land there. If I ask a question, I'm confident that where I probably went to buy land was not laid out. He doesn't want to buy land there. So you are going to find roads that are narrow, roads that are not accessible, roads that are not in the contemplation of government because there are no layouts. And like I was telling you, when this government came on board, one of the things we tackled was that fact. But we now decided that let's do what we call development guide plans for these areas. What is the development guide plan? Is to try to impose some orderliness on the development that is there. Like somebody said, because those areas have no layout. The people who sold the land didn't make provision for school. They didn't make provision for hospital. They didn't make provision for firefighting station. They didn't make provision for police station. They didn't make provision for so many facilities that will make that place sustainable.
All right. Just a second. Just hold on. Just hold on 1 second.
But people end up putting the...
Oh, all right. We lost that line there, but we'll definitely get back to the commissioner and then we can round off. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. I see most of you are really, really calling and sending in your questions as well to the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development in Ogun State, because we're talking about the physical and urban space and how well planned we have things going in terms of recipe for that particular state. So we're still trying to see if we can reconnect, but some questions coming in. Hello there.
Sorry, Victor.
All right, so you're back.
Hello, Victor.
Right, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm back.
All right, Commissioner, just hold on. Let me just take these questions for you. This one says, what measures has Town Planner Odulami been putting in place to provide alternative solutions or supports for individuals affected by the clearing of illegal structures and shanties? Town Planner Odulami, are you back? Hello?
I'm back.
Okay, so
I'm back,
this person is asking, what measures are you putting in place for individuals that are affected by the clearing of illegal structures and shanties? Have you done any of that in Ogun State, clearing of shanties and illegal structures?
Well, clearing of shanties and illegal structure is a continuous exercise. And of course, as you have rightly said, you said there are shanties and illegal structures. That means there are structures that should not have come into being in the first instance.
Right.
These are structures either built within the road setback or on drainage channels by people who didn't take adequate care to ensure that where they want to build is actually going to be allowed for them to be able to build. So if we say they are illegal structures and they are shanties, then they have no place to stay in the new Ogun State that we are trying to put in place.
All right, there's
so
a question.
If you do that, you have no compensation.
Right.
Nobody. You are the one who brought yourself there, so you have to find your way to somewhere else.
All right.
You couldn't have done something wrong, and then want government to now come and compensate you for illegality.
This one says
this
one says, good morning, HC Town Planner Odulami. It says, God will continue to strengthen you. Town planning job in Nigeria is not an easy task in Nigeria, but we should thank God for the job done so far. I know you are bringing to bear your experience while you served as permanent secretary in Lagos State. This is Kemi Adelusi from Magodo sending this one in. All right, let me see. Just 1 second, Town Planner Odulami, because I think we're going to have a second or perhaps a remix of this program because there are so many messages that are coming in here for you, even as we gradually wind to the end of the program. This one says, hello, Lagos Traffic Radio. What specific measures are being put in place to prevent the reoccurrence of illegal trading activities after enforcement exercises? Amaka sending that one in from Arikpo. All right, but let's go. Town Planner Odulami, what's your message as we depart the program? And then for those who are listening, if there are infractions, they want to get in touch with your ministry, how can they do that?
Well, let me just say that, it's a collective responsibility on the part of government and the people. People should adhere to regulations. They should obey the laws of the land. People should not build where they are not supposed to build. People should look for information before they purchase land, and we're ready to give free. In fact, we have a system now that you can come to our office and request before you buy land to tell you whether you should buy the land or not before you commit your hard-earned money. So people also have to be responsible. People who are trading on the street, they know that they should not be on the street. So when they are clear, they should not return there. Right. So we need to have an attitudinal change to some of these things so that we can both together work towards having a better plan and a sustainable environment.
Can I get this information online?
Add that.
Can we get all of this online?
Yes,
can we get your address? Yes, go ahead.
Yes. We have our website, which we are now even uploading with more information. Just go to Ogun State website and scroll down to Ministry of Planning and Urban Development. You are going to find this information there. And in any case, you can. My phone is public. You can always phone me. You can send a WhatsApp message to me, and you can come to any of our 22 zonal planning offices in Ogun State. There's no area in Ogun State that doesn't have a zonal planning office covering it. So you can walk in there and ask for information. If you are in doubt, you can write me, you can phone me, you can WhatsApp me. I will respond.
What's the number? What's the number for those that want to get in touch?
My number is 080-231
right
51208. 080-231 51208. It's my WhatsApp number. That's the number that I have.
Okay.
So you can call me, you can send message to me, and I always respond. Now, before I go, Victor,
right,
to be able to do this that we are doing, because we know that government, needs partnership with the private sector. We engaged a group that we call Building Collapse Prevention Guild in Ogun State for them to assist us in doing building site inspection. We are the only state in Nigeria till now, the first and only state to have engaged the private sector to assist this government in monitoring building in the state. Right. We have them now. Our people will be seeing them now. They will be kitted and they are to ensure that people do not do sharp practices while building their houses.
We have to leave it at that for now. Town Planner Odulami, there will be a second take of this. Let me say a big thank you to you for coming to the program.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Auguste. Thank you, Lagos. Thank you, Nigeria.
All right. We'll leave it at that for now. All right. That's how far we go. The program has been produced by Mike James. I say a big thank you to Gladys of Menime, also John Zurike in the building, Deborah Bolodeoku of our social media unit, and Okpa Emishonunke. Say a big thank you to you as well. Our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. I'm out. Still very much within. Bye.